Man, look, did you get a chance to have a look at my the Lee Morrow podcast I did?
I saw clips. I won't lie. I didn't see the podcast. It's only just come out, hasn't it?
Yeah, man. Well,
Tell me about Lee Moreau.
so Lee Morrow I had on the podcast, and we talked about his sort of journey overseas and the emotional, struggle that it was. What was it like for you when you were overseas? Like, did you ever have that sort of like mental anguish side of things, like when you like fuck, like, you know what I mean, like I got to try and get in front of someone, were you trying to like completely, like, I don't know, like what's the word to put it, like, I mean, like he was almost like every day he was like, damn it, I didn't get a chance to be in front of someone today, but damn, I'm going to make sure I do it tomorrow. Like, was that your mentality as well? Like when you were overseas, like when you were in America, was it like always, man, I just got to get that opportunity in front of someone today. Like it's got to happen. It's got to happen.
Look, there's a few key moments that I think of where it was kind of like that fork in the road sort of moments. I didn't have the same. I won't say urgency because that's not the right word, but I didn't have the same desperation or the way that you communicate. Having not heard Lee say it, and I'm a big fan of Lee's. Completely, you can cut that one. I'm a huge fan of Lee's, and I've put his name forward at a bunch of different places. But
Amazing guy.
Yeah, his girlfriend's a shithead who didn't invite me to his birthday, but that's a different story. Thanks, Soph.
Oh wow! Tomorrow's missus.
No, I don't. No, they're good people. Right. When I was over there, I think I had a different attitude about it, and I think I've also I've almost been my own worst enemy in a lot of different times as well, where I've kind of second guessed, or and we made a comment about the Dunning-Kruger effect, and I think I'm on the other. There must be another effect on the other side where it's that self-sabotage and of not really having the confidence to back myself all the way. But I know there are a few moments in that. For me, the first time we went over, so in 08, it was more about I just want to get as many connections as I can. I just want to get as much experience as I can. I just want to learn as much as I can. If I get to wrestle as well, awesome. Say what you will about DJ Hyde, he gave me an awesome opportunity at CZW. Made good friends with guys like Drew Gulak, Sammy Callahan, all those sort of guys. Like I wrestled Sammy over in Ohio, and then he came over to Philly, and I think I spoke on a previous podcast that we were supposed to be in the original Switchblade conspiracy, and then I got deported / left. But I didn't get deported. I had a green card. But I still see a vivid moment where I was training with ROH, training with CZW. Alex was training with Shakara, so I wouldn't mind Charlie, our eldest, on those nights. This is when I was 08, so we only had Charlie at the time. So it was kind of our deal that I would go to CZW, she'd go to Shakara, and then we'd sort of split up who would go to Ring of Honor training over the course of the week. And I'd either go with Jess or I'd go with Alex, and got the opportunity. I remember there was one time that we drove all the way up to Boston, and then it wasn't the time that I got my gear stolen, because that was, I want to say, Connecticut. So it was went up to Boston. Hunter, so one of the guys that was involved in the booking, I'm not going to make the connection between his government name and his dressing name. I was around, was hoping to get on the show. I'd actually looked like it was only going to be Jess and Madison were going to wrestle each other. So I was like, sweet, no worries. I'll take Charlie back to the hotel. I'll get, on the way I got a pizza, and I went back to the hotel. I was watching movies. Charlie was sleeping. And then I got a phone call saying, where are you? We've got you a match on ROH. And I was like, so it was kind of like one of those ones where I was just like, well, I'm back at the hotel, and it's like, well, you've missed your chance. And it was kind of like, well, no, it's not really. It's like, can you get back? I'm like, no, I've got a sleeping 3-year-old in the bed. I'm just going to have to sit this one out and hopefully I get invited again. Went through the whole trip. Feel like I'm just trying to remember. I ended up wrestling on them. It must have been 2011 when Koyo had made me some gear. I had that gear separately, but then my knee pads, my boots, my everything was in another bag. We were in New Jersey. It was just before we came. No, it was that trip. It was the end of that trip in '08. It was just before we came home. The night before the show that I was supposed to wrestle on, we had our car parked in a hotel car park, and then someone had broken in and taken like a whole bunch of bags. We had a bag that had the ROH bell that was given to us. We had all of Charlie's toys. We had I had a DVD that, because we'd been to Japan beforehand. This is one of the few sort of markish things that I had. I'd got it was like a best of Kobashi, like 8-disc set or whatever that Kobashi had signed for me while we were in Japan. All that stuff got stolen out of the car. Jess McKay, Billy Kay, I think she had a bag of stuff that she had been collecting, just presents for, like, she brought a pair of Jordans for her brother, which is how Jess and I met. She had a whole bunch of gifts for home and everything else, and they didn't take that bag. They just took the bag that had wrestling gear, kids' toys, and a Ring of Honor ring bell. Like it was like they obviously just grabbed what they could, and one of those was like all my shirts that I was trying to sell and a bunch of ring gear. So I rocked up to this show, and I didn't even realize that all that stuff had been stolen until I actually rocked up to the show in Connecticut. And then I went, I don't have the bag that has my knee pads or my merch or my anything, and so I had to like borrow a pair of knee pads and and then I went out and had the absolute worst tag match. And this is part of the reason why I had this like scarring about working tag matches is like, because I'm sitting there and it was me and some other guy, I can't remember who it was, against two guys that were just two rookies dressed up as ninjas, and they were going off and doing this random stuff, and I'm just sitting on the apron going, I have no control over what's happening right now. And like the match started, and I was standing on the apron talking to this guy, and he's like, this match is shit. I'm like, yep, I agree with you, it really is. Like, I can't do anything. Like, and he's laughing at me going, this is what it is, and I'm just going to have to ride this out and just grit my teeth and take it. Like, I had moments like that. Yeah, mate. I had moments like that I would obviously like to do better. There was then went back, got green cards, went back in 2011. There was an opportunity. I kind of said no to an opportunity to be on one of the Dragon Gate USA shows because I was asked if I wanted to be on a show and not get paid and something else. And I was like, no, you can, no problems doing whatever match you want, whether it's the Rumble or whatever, but you can at least throw me a hot dog and a Coke, and like I'm not coming in for nothing. So I kind of shot myself on the foot with that one, but there was a whole other bit of a backstory. And then was supposed to go and hang out. I was not really clear on what I was going to do, but be around the New Japan USA show that was at the Philly. So I don't want to talk about like it was like some big thing that I had to pull out of. It was hey, come down, we might have something for you. And then a whole bunch of other stuff happened, and I couldn't actually go down to the venue. I still have a vivid memory of Adam Flash calling me while I'm walking down by the lake to taking the kids out for a walk and doing all that sort of stuff. That was near our apartment. I was like, yeah, by the way, I'm not coming in today. So I had moments like that where I'm like, okay, that could have been a turning point in my career, and there could have been other opportunities that came out, or even like I don't have maybe the same mindset as Lee. Like there was an opportunity at one point to potentially go over to Japan and live in a dojo. I was like, I can't go and not support my family. Like we had Charlie when I was 23, 24. So I've always felt a responsibility of I can't just drop everything and go. I respect the people that are in that situation. I back them to, if they can, go for it. But it just, I couldn't do it. I'm in a situation now with rugby where, I've got all my coaching qualifications. I've got like the top world rugby coaching qualification, but my job opportunities are limited to Sydney or Canberra because I live halfway between the two. I would love to just go and apply for even just in Queensland jobs in the Queensland, which is a pretty decent comp. But because of the kids are here, whether they be the kids that live with Madison or the kids that I have with me, like we've got young kids here and we've just built a house, and it's like I can't take advantage of those opportunities to other people that are younger or have less responsibilities, but I don't begrudge them for being in that position.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Yeah, so I know I've kind of, has been the nature of all our sort of chats, I've gone off on a bit of a tangent, but I definitely didn't feel that same desperation, because my attitude, going back, just to circle back to your original question, my attitude was, I'm just going to learn as much as I can, and at worst, I'm going to have stuff that I can take back to the training school with Peter. But then also we were very much at that time, my mindset was, how do I get Oz Wrestling and the guys that I'm training in the door? That was kind of like, how do I create opportunities for people, not just myself? And I've spoke to you about how I feel my legacy is going to be more around the people I've trained rather than what I've achieved in the ring. So my thing was, how do I create opportunities for people? And I wasn't, how do I get, in part because I didn't feel like, and go back to that imposter syndrome, I didn't feel like I won't say good enough, because I've always been sort of proud that I could hold my own, but I didn't think I had that X factor or that next level or whatever it was that stood me apart to get to that next level. So I was like, okay, but if I can go in and prove that Aussie wrestlers are really good, then the next one that comes, whether it be Robbie or Davis or whoever it is, they go, hey, I had the guy that trained you, or I had this guy from Oz, you might know him. How we'll take you in and we'll train you up, or we'll give you a shot, or whatever that might be. So I have a very different mindset or a different approach to what Lee potentially would have had.
Yeah. I mean, I think, like it's a different, because like, as you said, you're a father back then as well. So it's like the realities of life and, and stuff like that. You know what I mean? You put, family first.
Oh, mate, I still have, just popped in my head when you were like, oh, you had your family and stuff. I still have this photo somewhere. It would have been low res because we had shit cameras back then, of Charlie would have been 2.5, lying there watching a portable DVD player. She had Dora going on portable DVD player, lying there on a stomach watching this DVD player, and Drew Gulak like parked down, lying on belly first, watching it with her. So yeah, there are some pretty awesome memories that I had from those times, as much as there's some other stuff, the other emotions attached to later on.